Welcome to Top 5 Friday. I'm Tim Cant, and this time I'm coming at you from my studio on the front line of the loudness war, because today we're looking at mastering plugins. That's right, every day countless producers are fighting for huge sounding mixdowns while protecting our most precious natural resource, transients. Really makes you think about who the real heroes are, doesn't it? If you reckon we've made a tactical error by missing out your favourite mastering plugin, why not run it up the flagpole in the comments and see if anyone salutes. Barricade 4 is walled up at 5. Magic AB2 casts a spell at number 4. Watch out for WEISS power at 3. Elevate Mastering Bundle gives us a lift at 2. And surprise surprise, OZONE takes the number 1 spot. At 5, Barricade 4 by TONEBOOSTERS. This compressor and peak limiter is an especially transparent mastering processor that takes care of a signal's highest peaks with an easy to use set of controls. Barricade 4 features channel linking, auto gain and auto release, dither and comprehensive loudness metering. Plus, if you're looking for a less clinical compression style, it's also got input modelling modes to add some character to the sound. At only €30, Barricade 4 is a serious contender for daily compression and limiting jobs, and is a great way to get started mixing through a limiter. So Barricade is a relatively straightforward mastering plugin. It's got a few interesting tricks up its sleeve. Let's play back an unmastered track now. We'll set the view to peak/gain. We can see our track here. And we can turn up the gain to reduce the dynamic range. Gain reduction happening up here. Pretty simple, and as you can see, the attack and release parameters are faded out because in a lot of the limiter modes, Barricade just doesn't need them. So let's try a few more, hear how they sound. We're pumping this limiting pretty hard so you can get a better idea of how it sounds. And some of these, actually let's not have a channel link, let's go for transparent. Some of these modes have your attack release. I like a long attack, short release, because it's banging. A legacy mode there. Oh, crazy loudness. Also, you can change the input model. Let's see what we can do with that. Gotta stress again, these crazy values we're using are for demonstration purposes only. Obvious character adding there. So yeah, all great stuff. And there's also a compressor built in too. It's a little gem. Top work, TONEBOOSTERS. At 4, Magic AB2 by Sample Magic. A crucial part of the mastering process is to compare the track you're working on to something you'd like it to compare favourably with. You can do this in your DAW by routing audio tracks to outputs directly, bypassing the master, but the luxury solution is Sample Magic's Magic AB2. With Magic AB, you can load up to 9 reference tracks straight into the plugin and flick between these in your own track, comparing them all in terms of level, loudness and dynamic range. You can also use Magic AB to check your track in mono to see how your mix will perform in clubs or on smaller speakers. I love referencing, I use it all the time when I'm making music. Let's use Magic AB2 to see how we can use referencing specifically in a mastering scenario. So we have a track here, which is an unmastered tune. It's peaking at about -6 dB, which you can also see on the plugin's interface. Let's compare it to some commercial mixes to find out how we're doing. So we've got some similarly mixed tunes here to compare our track to. Using my own tunes here, partly out of vanity, also because we're not looking to get a copyright strike. So what we can do is we can play back a tune and play back our project. We can swap between our pre-master and the reference tracks using these large A and B buttons. Now we're a lot quieter. So what we would probably do is drag down the threshold, and this ozone that I've sneakily put here is a little sneak peek of what's come later. and we see how we're doing. We can skip on here, and then in here to get a suitable bit to compare. It could still be a bit louder. You don't want to push it too crazy. Let's see how we're doing. Let's have a listen to all the tracks. Yeah, maybe we can turn that down, or back up a little, I guess, on the first shelf. So there you have it, a very simple and quick way to take the guesswork out of your mixing and mastering process. At 3, WEISS MM1 by SOFTUBE. If you're after a mastering limiter that's easy to use but has tons of character, here's a good piece of advice. SOFTUBE's take on the WEISS MM1 digital mastering hardware is fully endorsed and uses the same algorithms in plugin form. WEISS MM1 gives you 5 flavors of limiting: transparent, loud, punch, wide, and DS. And also gives you amount, mix, and limiter gain controls to round things out the way you want them, safe in the knowledge that your audio signal is going through algorithms respected by mastering engineers the world over. So first things first, WEISS looks nice. This is a gorgeous plugin. I'm smitten just with the look of it alone. Might seem like a small thing, but when you're looking at plugins all day, oh my goodness, it makes a difference. So let's hear how it sounds. You just whacked on the master in a little project here. Let's turn up the limiter gain. Oh yeah. And we also have an amount control as well. Ooh. We can dial in some dry signal with the parallel mix. Bypass it. And there are various styles available as well. We've been listening to punch. Let's see how the others sound. Goodness. And you get a de-esser as well, which is a nice, if weird, touch. It looks cracking, it sounds cracking. I am smitten like a kitten. And number 2, Elevate Mastering Bundle by EVENTIDE. EVENTIDE units are fixtures in studios everywhere, and their recent research has seen them take mastering into a new direction using artificial intelligence and modelling the hearing response of the human ear. As such, the 4 plugins in this bundle, Elevate, Equivocate, Saturate and Punctuate, might require a little extra effort to learn their idiosyncrasies, but for anyone demanding surgical mastering tools, they're the perfect choice. For example, Punctuate can nail transients by changing how different frequency bands of a sound's attack come across, and Equivocate's bands match how the human ear works, providing a finely tuned way to sculpt the frequency spectrum. Computers are taking over, boys. But hey, look on the bright side. In the meantime, at least we've got some excellent artificial intelligence-driven transient processing courtesy of Punctuate. Let's have a listen to it. Bypassed. There we go. Crispy. You can control the transient emphasis with this fader here. And we can even suppress those transients, which may come in handy one day, who knows. We can control the transient length. And where things get interesting is with the adaptive transient. Now, how this plugin works is there are 26 frequency bands. Cut a long story short, this fader controls whether they respond to the signal as a whole, so basically a single band, or each individual band. Let's see what that does. Yeah, a little bit of a nuanced effect there. And you can also control the adaptive length, cut a long story short, longer treble, longer bass. And you can also draw a curve here. This lets you control the level of suppression or emphasis for each band. So yeah, great sounding effect and just one element of the Elevate mastering suite. And at number 1, it's OZONE 8 Advanced by IZOTOPE. Once again, popping a perfect package into our number 1 slot is IZOTOPE with the infamous OZONE mastering suite. With its modular set of precise tools, OZONE has you building a chain of mastering effects to perfectly suit your audio material. The modules include Spectral Shaper, Maximizer, Imager, EQ, Dynamic EQ, Exciter, Dynamics, and Vintage Compressor, Tape and EQ. They're all available as individual plugins for advanced version users. As well as the basic models, you get the OZONE Mastering Assistant, which helps you reach a starting point for a track and identify what action might be needed. The Tonal Balance Control, which lets you reference your tracks to professional standards. Intelligent Track Segmentation, space for 10 reference tracks, and tons more. OZONE 8 is also available in standard and elements versions with less functionality and not as many modules, but at a lower price. If you've tried your hand at mastering, then you're almost certainly familiar with iZotope's OZONE series. You might not be familiar with the Spectral Shaper though, which is new to OZONE 8. And it's a bit like a spectral dynamic EQ for attenuation specifically. So let's see what we can do with it. We've got a bit of a crusty audio here. Let's bring down the threshold, see what happens. Ooh. There's some attenuation happening. You can change the region that it affects here. And you can really change the sound quite radically. There's a tone control as well. Attack. Release. You get the idea, and there are various modes as well. Let's go heavy. You also get mid-side functionality accessible here, and for the more classic OZONE style view, there is the gain reduction trace. So if you have issues that can't be solved with regular EQ, why don't you call on the very spooky Spectral Shaper? Well, that particular battle is over, but the war goes on, so why not check out the Barricade 4 demo at TONEBOOSTERS.com and the OZONE 8 demo at pluginboutique.com. Until next time, keep it foobar.